Hi everyone, welcome to the series of lectures on signals and systems. So in the last class I introduced to you the concept of system. So what is system? System is nothing but a process which processes your input signal and produce the output signal. So later we classify the systems also into two categories. One is continuous time systems and another one is discrete time systems. So both the continuous time system and discrete time system are further classified into the various categories. Almost we have 6 categories of classification based on the properties they exhibit. So in that we already studied the first category of classification, which is your linear and non-linear system. So linear and non-linear system. So this category of classification is already over. So what is linear and non-linear? So if the system output follows the input, value, so then the system is a linear system. So if it is a linear system, means it must satisfy two conditions: condition of homogeneity, first one is, and condition of superposition. So if a system satisfies both the conditions, condition of homogeneity and superposition, that system is a linear system. Otherwise the system is a non-linear system. How can you make a statement? So using these two conditions, how can I make the statement? So the statement is like this. So x1 of t is the input given to the system, so it will produce the output y1 of t, and x2 of t is another input given to the system, so it will produce the output y2 of t. So in the third step, what I can do is I can take the linear combination of the two inputs, so that is the weighted sum of your inputs. So if I give the weighted sum of inputs to your system, if the system produces the weighted sum of outputs, so that is your weighted sum of outputs. So that system is a linear system. Otherwise the system is a non-linear system. So this is the statement with respect to the linear and non-linear systems. First you apply the input x1 of t, later we apply the new input x2 of t, and in this third step we apply the linear combination of the two inputs, which is your x1 of t plus x2 of t. This linear combination of inputs what we call as the weighted sum of inputs. So if you apply the weighted sum of inputs, if you find the output, so that is your y dash of t. If you find the output, so if y dash of t is equal to the weighted sum of outputs, definitely that system is a linear system. And by observation directly you can say whether the given system described by the equation is linear or non-linear. For that I told you in the last class, if the system is described by directly looking to the equation described by your system, you can directly say whether the given system is a linear system or it is a non-linear system. So what is the trick? The trick is, so if the system described by the equation consists of constant values, so I already give consist of constant values, that is in terms of y equal to, so mx plus c. Here c is a constant. So this is the equation described by a system. So this equation given to you. So to check whether the given equation is a whether the given system described by this equation is a linear or non-linear, directly you can say that since there is a constant in this equation, this system is a non-linear system. You can directly say if the system described by an equation which consists of a constant, that system is a non-linear system by direct observation. So another observation is, if the system described by the equation consists of the squared values, that means x square of t, like that, if the system is defined with squared values, that is powered values x cube of t, like that powered values, you directly say that that system is a non-linear system. By observation directly you can say whether this system is a linear or non-linear. Don't do the entire procedure. Directly you can say by looking into the system. If the system consists of the constants, that system is a non-linear system. So if the system is described with equations consists of powered values, that system is also a non-linear system. Suppose if the system is defined with trigonometric functions, suppose as sine of x of t, like that. The system consists of trigonometric functions like this, sine of x of t. That system is also a non-linear system. By observation you can say directly whether the given system is a linear or non-linear. You can remember all these observations. First observation is, if it consists of constant values, it is directly a non-linear system. So if it consists of the powered values, directly you can say that system is a non-linear system. If it consists of the trigonometric functions like this in the form sine of x of t, so it is a non-linear system. So one more thing is, if the system consists of logarithmic values like this, log of x of t, like this, the system consists of logarithmic values. If the system described by the equation consists of logarithmic functions like this, log of x of t, that system is also a non-linear system. So you keep all these observations in your mind, and directly you can say whether the given system described by the equation is linear or non-linear. So, and also one more important is, if the system described by the exponentials like this, if the system described by the exponential functions, so in our equation if there are any exponential terms are there involved, so that system is also directly a non-linear system. So you keep all these observations in your mind. So while solving the problems, all these observations are very, very important, and you directly say using these observations whether the given system is a linear and a non-linear system. So, and one more important observation you keep in mind is, so when you connect two linear systems in the cascade form, so like this, so we will get another system which is of also the linear system, So when you connect two linear systems in cascade, that is in series, when you connect two linear systems, this is linear system 1, this is linear system 2. So when you connect two linear systems in cascade, the resultant system is also a linear system. Next, so when you connect two systems in parallel, so L1 and L2 in parallel, so the resultant system we'll get is also a linear system. So you keep these things as a note. When we connect two systems in cascade, so the resultant system obtained is also a linear system. When you connect two systems in parallel, the resultant system is also a linear system. So this is about the linear and non-linearity property of the system. So this is about the first category of the classification. Is over. So coming to the second category of the classification. Is our time variant. So time variant and time invariant systems. TI stands for time invariant, TV stands for time variant. So time variant and time invariant systems. These systems are also called as shift variant. And shift invariant systems. So there is another term related with the time variant and time invariant systems, shift variant and shift invariant systems. How can you define this time variant and time invariant systems? I already told you, when it comes to the definitions are very easy to understand, but when it comes to the problem solving, so it is somewhat difficult. Definitions are very easy. How can you define this time invariant and time variant systems? So to define this time invariant and time variant systems, let us apply an input x of t to your system. So your system produces the output y of t. So let us observe here. Now if I provide a delay in your input, that is your x of t minus t naught. So x of t minus t naught means what? So the same signal x of t is shifting towards the right hand side. That is a delay in x of t by how many units? By t naught units. So if I produce a delay signal and it is given to the system, same amount of delay if you observe in the output, that system is called a time invariant system, or it is a shift invariant system. So let us observe the definition clearly. So if you understand the definition, so the problem is very easy to solve. So the definition says like this. So x of t is input given to your system produces the output. So if I give the input like this, which is the delayed version of x of t, so if I give the input x of t minus t naught, which is the delayed version of x of t by how many units? By t naught units. Now you observe the output of your system. So if you in the output also, if you got the same amount of delay, which is t naught, so whatever the amount of delay in your output, you have taken the same amount of delay. If you observe in your output, that system is a time invariant system. This time invariant system is also called as shift invariant system. So why it is called shift invariant system? Because we are using the shifting operation. So when you provide a delay of t naught in your input, same amount of delay if you observe in the output, that system is called a time invariant system. Otherwise the system is called time variant system. So let me quickly explain this time invariant and time variant systems with the example. So if I take the example like this, so example is, so let us consider this as the example. So let us consider the system described by the, so our system is described by this equation, which is equal to y of t equal to t times x of t. So this is the equation given by your system. This is the input output relation. So that is given by your system. This is the equation described by your system, which is the continuous time system. Here I consider the continuous time system. So this is the equation given. Now you check whether the given system is a time variant or time invariant system. You check whether the given system is a time variant or time invariant system. To check whether the given system is a time variant or time invariant system, in the first step you have given the input x of t. For the input x of t, you find the output y of t. So what is your output y of t? It is t times x of t. Next, in the second step, so you apply the input, which is the delayed input of your input signal by t naught times. Here I use minus sign, means it is shifting towards the right side. So whenever the signal is shifting towards the right side, it is the delay in time operation. Right hand side shifting operation is nothing but delay in time operation. So if you apply the delayed input, like this in the definition, if you apply the delayed input, so if you observe the output, So let us consider the output is y dash of t. So this output y dash of t is the output due to delayed input. We calculate the output due to delay in input. So let us make the observation here. We are calculating the output due to delayed input. That means what is your output here? So wherever input is there, you take the delayed version of the input. Now this is your output due to delay in the input. Clearly observe here, x of t is your input, y of t is your output. This is the equation described by your system. So what is y of t for x of t input? It is t times x of t. Now we are going to calculate the output. This is your output due to the delayed input. Whenever we apply a delayed input, what is your output? This is your output, y dash of t. So y dash of t is what? So t times x of t minus t naught. This is the output due to the delay in the input. Now this output you have to check whether the output due to delay in input is equal to the delayed output or not. That means your y dash of t is equal to y of t minus t naught. This is what? This is the delayed output. That means delay in the output. So this y dash of t is what? The output due to delay in the input. This y of t minus t naught is what? Delayed output. This is a delayed out, directly delay in the output. Now what is y of t minus t naught? So wherever t is there in the output expression, so you need to substitute here t minus t naught. So t minus t naught into x of t minus t naught. So this is your delayed output. Now if you observe the delayed output and the output due to delay in input, so both are equal or not? No, these two are not equal. That means what? The given system is a time variant system. So let us observe clearly here to understand the concept of time variant and time invariant system. Essay question came on these classifications of the system. Clearly observe the definition and clearly observe the procedure, how to solve the problem. I considered a continuous time system here. So the continuous time system is described by this equation. In the problem, the equation is given. That means the relation between the input and output described by your system is given in the problem. They are asking, check whether the given system is a linear or non-linear. Check whether the given system is a time variant or time invariant. Like that they are asking. Now in this problem, this is the problem of time variant and time invariant. How to check whether the given system is a time variant and a time invariant? For that, the first step is you just apply your input and you find the output. So for x of t, what is your output? Y of t is t times x of t. In the next step, you apply a delayed input. Find out the output. Here I consider output as y dash of t. Here y dash of t is the output due to the delay in the input. So whenever we apply a delayed input, your output is y dash of t. Clearly observe here, y dash of t is the output due to delay in the input. Now you calculate y dash of t. How to calculate y dash of t? To calculate y dash of t, wherever is your input is there, I already told you x of t is your input, y of t is your output. Wherever x of t is there, you provide a delay in the x of t. Don't provide a delay in t. T is not your input. Wherever the input is there, you provide a delay in that input, so that I will get a output due to the delay in the input, which is t times x of t minus t naught. So this is your output due to delay in the input. This is your output due to delay in the input. Now how to check whether the given system is a time variant or time invariant? To check, you have to calculate the delayed output. You have to calculate the delayed output in the next step. What is the delayed output? That means the delay in the output. That means the delay in the output. Directly, what is delayed output? Y of t minus t naught is your delayed output. Delayed output. That means what is the output expression? This is your output expression. Y of t equal to t times x of t. How can you calculate the delayed output? So wherever t is there in the output expression, you substitute, you replace t by t minus t naught, and we will get a delayed output, which is a t minus t naught times x of t minus t naught. Now if we observe, the output due to delay in the input is equal to the delayed output or not. So this is the delayed output. This is your delayed output. This is output due to delay in input. Both the expressions are not equal. Both the expressions are not equal. That means what? If both the expressions are not equal, the system is a time variant system. The system is a time variant system. The given system y of t equal to t times x of t is a time variant system. Time variant system. So let me quickly explain the same concept with the by taking another example, so you can understand. So y of t system described by this equation, y of t equal to like this. So y of t equal to x of 2t, x of 2t. So this is the equation, so described by a system. A continuous time system is described by this equation. Now you check whether the given system is a time variant system or time invariant system. Time variant system or time invariant system. This is also called shift variant or shift invariant system. For this, what is the first step? First step is you just apply the input x of t. For x of t, what is your output? Your output y of t is what? So x of 2t, x of 2t, that is your output. Now, so what is the second step? You just find out the output due to delay in input. So what is your delay in input? So t minus t naught is the delay in input. Now what is your output? 2t minus t naught. You provide the delay. You provide the delay in the input, and we calculate the output. Y dash of t is what? X of 2t minus t naught. With respect to 2t here, I provide a delay 2t minus t naught. Next, you calculate the delayed output. So what is delayed output? Y of t minus t naught. So wherever t is there in the expression given, you need to substitute t by t minus t naught, t minus t naught. Now you observe the two equations. You observe the two equations. So is y dash of t is equal to y of t minus t naught or not? So definitely not. Definitely these two equations are not equal. Definitely these two equations are not equal. This is y dash of t is the output due to delay in input. When we apply a delayed input, your output is y dash of t, that is x of 2t minus t naught. We provide a delay of t naught with respect to the time. So with respect to the time, so that is your output due to delay in input. Now this output due to delay in input is equal to the delayed output or not. So what is your delayed output? Your delayed output is y of t minus t naught, y of t minus t naught. Now I calculate y of t minus t naught. Observe y dash of t equal to y of t minus t naught or not? Definitely not. Definitely those two equations are not equal. Therefore the given system is a time variant system. Therefore the given system is a time variant system. Always it is a time variant system. So this is the example. Now if you take another example, you can easily realize the concept. So let me quickly take the third example so you can easily realize. So what is the third example? Let us consider y of t. Your system is described by this equation. So x of t whole square, x of t whole square. Like that I consider the equation. Now you check whether the given system is time variant system or time invariant system. So let us check whether the given system is time variant or time invariant. For that you calculate the y dash of t. I directly calculate the y dash of t. Here y dash of t is what? The output due to delay in the input. When we apply a delayed input, what is your output? That is output due to delay in input. So what is this expression? X of t minus t naught whole square. So wherever input is there, you just replace that input by t minus t naught. Here the input is x of t, so you replace x of t by x of t minus t naught whole square is there. So this is one equation, that is y dash of t. Now you calculate the delayed outputs, that is your y of t minus t naught. Y of t minus t naught is the delayed output. How can you calculate delayed output? Wherever t is there in your output expression, you just substitute, you just replace t by t minus t naught. T is there in one case only, x of t, in that only there is a t. Now I observe the two equations, whether the given two equations are equal or not. So y dash of t is equal to, so y of t minus t naught or not. So both the equations are equal, therefore the given system is time invariant system. Therefore the given system is time invariant system. This is about the time variant and time invariant systems. Only thing is, when we provide a delay in the input, if we get the same delay in the output, that system is a time invariant system. Otherwise this system is a time variant system. Time variant system is also called as shift variant. Time invariant system is also called as shift invariant system. You just keep in the definitions in your mind and solve the problems, practice the problems. I already told you, when it comes to the definitions are very easy, but when it comes to solving the problems, you feel somewhat difficult. So this is about the time invariant and time variant systems. So next, what is the system? Third category of the classification. We quickly move on to the third category of the classification. So third category of classification is your static and dynamic systems. So all of you know static is what? Static is a memoryless. Static system is also called as memoryless. All resistive networks are static networks. So what is dynamic system? Systems with memory are called dynamic systems. Systems with memory are called dynamic systems. Dynamic systems are also called as memory systems. Static systems is also called as memoryless systems. So how can you define this static and dynamic systems? Static system is nothing but the response of the system. All of you clearly listen. The response of the system, that is your y of t, depends on the present values of the input. So you just remember this. This is time 0. So it is -1, -2, like this. On the positive real axis side it is 1. So it is 2, like this. It is the future values of the input. So it is the past values of the input. You just remember this scale. To define the static and dynamic systems, static is nothing but a system is said to be static whenever the response of the system at any instant of time depends on the present values of the input only. The response, which is your output. What is static means? The response is nothing but y of t. So the response of the system at any instant of time, that is your t, at any instant of time, depends on depends on present values of the input, depends on present values of the input. Suppose if I take the equation like this, so y of t equal to, so y of t equal to x of t plus 2, like that I consider. The system is given by this equation, y of t equal to x of t plus 2, like that the system is given. Now you check whether the given system is static system or dynamic system. For that you check what is static and what is dynamic. If the response of the system at any instant depends on the present values of the input only, present values of the input only, that means if the response of the system depends on the values of the input at that instant only, at that instant only. So if it not happens, that is a dynamic system, that is a dynamic system, system with memory. Suppose if I calculate the response at time t equal to 0, so at time t equal to 0, what is your y of 0? Your y of 0 is equal to x of 2. That means what? Your response at instant 0 depends on the future value of the input, depends on the future value of the input, that is x of 2. 2 is nothing but the future value of the input, future value of the input. When compared to t equal to 0, 2 is nothing but the future value of the input, future value of the input. That means for your system, the response depends on the future value of the input at a time t equal to 0, at time t equal to 0. Static and dynamic is nothing but if the response you are calculating depends on the present values of the input only, that is a static system. If the response we calculate at any instant depends on past or future values of the input, that is a dynamic system, that is a dynamic system. Now you tell me, so at t equal to 0, your output depends on the future value of the input, depends on the future value of the input. That means what? Your system is a dynamic system, because when we calculate the response of the system at a particular instant 0, the response depends on the future value of the input, future value of the input, x of 2. So x of 2 is the future value of the input. That means the system is a dynamic system, system with memory, system with memory. That is your dynamic system. Now you quickly take the another example for the dynamic system. Suppose if I consider the system like this, y of t equal to, so y of t equal to x of 2t. If the system described by this equation is y of t equal to x of 2t. Now you tell me whether the system is static system or dynamic system. The system is static or dynamic. You just check the value of the system at any instant. Now what is the output response at time t equal to 0? Your output response is at time t equal to 0 is 0. That means the response of the system at a particular input, at a particular value, at a particular instant, that is t equal to 0, depends on the value of the input at the same instant, at the same instant, for t equal to 0, for t equal to 0. Suppose if I substitute t equal to 1, now you calculate the output. So y of 1 is equal to what? So y of 1 is equal to x of 2. That means the response of the system at instant t equal to 1, at instant t equal to 1 depends on the future value of the input, depends on the future value of the input. That means what? The system is always a dynamic system. System is always a dynamic system. You remember this point. If the response of the system at any instant, you can take any instant, depends on the present values of the input, depends on the values of the input at that instant only, that is a static system. If it is not happening, if the response of the system depends on past or future values of the input, that is your dynamic system, that is your dynamic system. Suppose if I take the example like this for a discrete time instance, so y of n is equal to, so if I take the expression like this, if I take the system described by the equation is like this, so x of n plus x of n minus 2, this is a discrete time system, this is a discrete time system. Now we calculate the response at n equal to 0 to check whether the given system is static or dynamic. So at n equal to 0, your y of 0 is what? So x of 0 plus x of minus 2, x of 0 plus x of minus 2. That means what? your response at n equal to 0 depends on the input, the present value of the input, that is x of 0, and the past values of the input. Your response at n equal to 0 instant depends on the present value of the input and also the past values of the input. If the response depends on present and past values of the input, definitely that system is a dynamic system. It is a dynamic system. If the response depends on present and past values of the input or present and future values of the input, that system is definitely a dynamic system. If the response depends on the values of the input at that instant only, that system is a static system. So this is a static and dynamic systems. Static and dynamic systems are very easy. The response depends on present values of the input, then it is a static system. If the response depends on past or future values of the input, that system is a dynamic system. Next, we will quickly move on to the next category of the classification, so which is your invertible and non-invertible systems. So let me quickly explain the invertible and non-invertible systems. So this is category 4. So category 4, invertible and non-invertible. I stands for invertible, Ni stands for non-invertible systems. So to understand the invertible and non-invertible systems, so you must understand two factors here. Before going to explain the invertible and non-invertible systems, one must know the concept one-to-one mapping. So one-to-one mapping. So you must know the one-to-one mapping. So what is one-to-one mapping? So one-to-one mapping is nothing but for distinct values of the input. So you may get distinct values of the output. You will get distinct values of the output. That is your one-to-one mapping. For each value of the input, you may get unique value of the output. That is your one-to-one mapping. Let us consider this one-to-one mapping with the help of the figure. Suppose here it is your input, x of t is your input, and here your output is there, a, b, c, like that you can take the output. For distinct values of the input, so you will get distinct values of the output. Suppose x of t is 1, so my output is a. So if I consider x of t equal to 2, I will get y of t is b. If I consider x of t equal to 3, if I get y of t is equal to c. That means what? For distinct values of the input, if you get distinct values of the output, that is nothing but the one-to-one mapping. One-to-one mapping is nothing but for each and every value of the input. You will get output. You will get unique value of the output. Remember, for x of t equal to 1, you will get a. For x of t equal to 2, you will get b. For input x of t equal to 2, you will get unique value of the output. You will get only one output. For x of t equal to 3, you will get only one output, which is c. That means what? For each and every value of the input, you will get only one output. That is your one-to-one mapping. Next, you must understand many-to-one mapping. So what is many-to-one mapping? So before going to understand the invertible and non-invertible systems, so you must know the concepts of one-to-one mapping and many-to-one mapping. So what is many-to-one mapping? So for two or more values of your input, so you will get unique value of the output. That is your many-to-one mapping. Suppose if 1, 2, 3, so this is a, b. For a value of 1, you will get a. For value of 2 also you will get a. For value of 3 you will get B. That means for 2 or more inputs, so you will get the unique value of the output. You will get the unique value of the out. That means for values of input x of t 1, you will get the output A. For values of the input x of t equal to 2, you will get output A. That means for 2 inputs you will get the unique value of the output. You will get the unique value of the output. That is your many to one mapping. That is your many to one mapping. This is about the one to one mapping and many to one mapping. One to one mapping is nothing but for each and every value of the input you will get unique value of the output. That is your one to one mapping. So for 2 or more inputs, you will get a unique value of the output. That is your many to one mapping. So if you understand one to one mapping and many to one mapping, so next we will move on to the definition of invertible and non-invertible systems. So what is invertible system means? If the system follows the one to one mapping, for unique values of the input, you will get unique values of the output. If the system follows the one to one mapping, that is your invertible system. That means what? For an invertible system, there should be one to one mapping. Between input and output at each and every instant of the time. So all of you understand carefully what is invertible system. If the system is invertible means there should be one to one mapping. Between input and output at each and every instant of the time. That is your invertible system. Let me quickly explain this invertible system with the help of the example. Let us consider the example to explain the invertible system. So if I take the system like this, so y of t, if the system described by the equation is like this, y of t equal to, so x square times t. So this is our y of t equal to x square times t. This is your the equation described by the system. Now you check whether this system follows the one to one mapping or not. If the system follows the one to one mapping, that means for each and every value of the input you will get the unique value of the output or not. You can check. How can you check? Let us consider x of t here. So y of t is here. So you prepare a table for this. This is your input. So this is your output. So let us consider your input is 1. So what will get y of t? So y of t is 1. So for input 2, what you will get? You will get 4. For input minus 1, what you will get? 1. For input minus 2, what you will get? 4. That means what? For 2 or more inputs, that means for 1 and minus 1, you have a single output. You have a unique value of the output. That means what? This system is not an invertible system. This is a non-invertible system. If the system follows one to one mapping, that means for each and every value of the input you have the unique value of the output. That system is a invertible system. But in this example, 2 inputs follows the same output. 1 and minus 1 follows the same output 1. 2 and minus 2 follows the same output 4. That means 2 or more inputs follows the same input. That is a non-invertible system. So this is your non-invertible system. So what is the non-invertible system? For 2 or more inputs we have the unique value of the output. That system is a non-invertible system. Suppose if I consider the example like this. So y of t equal to x of t plus 2. System described by this equation given. Now you check whether the given system is a invertible system or not. So whether the given system is invertible or non-invertible. For that you can consider the different values of the input. Suppose if I consider x of t equal to 1, y of t is what? 3. If x of t is minus 1, so what is your y of t? Y of t is 1. So if x of t is 2, what is your y of t? 4. That means for each and every value of the input, you have the unique value of the output. You have the unique value of the output. That means what? The system is an invertible system. An invertible system. For an invertible system, it follows the one-to-one mapping. That means for each and every value of the input, there must be unique value of the output. There must be unique value of the output. Otherwise, the system is non-invertible system. Otherwise, the system is non-invertible system. Very, very easy. How to check the invertible and non-invertible nature of the system? If the system output is unique for the unique values of the input, that is a invertible system. So if the system output is will get same output for 2 or more input values, that is a non-invertible system. That is a non-invertible system. This is about the invertible and non-invertible systems. So let me quickly write one note here. So you must take this note. So if the system is invertible, if you cascade the invertible system, here the system is invertible. So if you cascade the invertible system with its inverse, suppose this is the system represented by T, and if you cascade your invertible system which is of T, here the input is x of T. Okay, quickly take this note. If it is an invertible system, if you cascade the invertible system by an inverse of the system, that means it is T inverse. It is T inverse by its inverse. This is your invertible system. If the system is invertible, this is your invertible system. It is represented by T, capital T. Now if you cascade your invertible system by its inverse, that is T inverse, by its inverse, so you will get the same output. This is also definition of the invertible system. For an invertible system, if you cascade the system by its inverse, you will get the same input. Whatever the input given to your invertible system, at the output you will get the same input. At the output will get the same output. This is about the invertible nature of the system. If the system is invertible, so if you cascade the invertible system with its inverse, suppose the invertible system is represented by capital T and its input is x of t. Now if you cascade this invertible system by its inverse, that means if you cascade T by its inverse means T inverse, so at the output you will get the input. Whatever the input given at the invertible system, you will get the same input at the output. This is the invertible system. This is about the invertible and non-invertible systems. Next, let us move on to the next system. Quickly move on to the next system. So the next system is a stable and unstable system. So the next system is stable and unstable system. So stable and unstable system. So before going to stable and unstable system, so you must know this criteria. Before going to define the stable and unstable nature of the system, you must know the criteria. Bibo stability. So you must know the criteria, Bibo criteria. So you must understand the Bibo criteria. So what is Bibo criteria? This is bounded input. So Bibo means bounded. So bounded input and bounded output. So what is Bibo criteria means bounded input and bounded output criteria. Bibo is nothing but bounded input and bounded output. So what is the meaning of bounded? Bounded is nothing but signal is having limited magnitude value in between the range minus infinity to plus infinity. The magnitude of the system is finite. The magnitude of the system or amplitude of the system is finite in between the interval minus infinity to plus infinity. That is your bounded. Bounded meaning is if the signal is having finite value, in between minus infinity to plus infinity range, that is your bounded signal. That is the exact meaning of the bounded. Now, how can you say whether the system is stable or unstable? How can you say whether the system is stable and unstable? For that, you just give a bounded input signal to your system. You just give a bounded input signal to your system, and if you get a bounded output, that system is a stable system. What is stable and unstable? To understand stable and unstable, you must know the Bibo criteria. So what is Bibo criteria means? It is bounded and bounded input and bounded output. So what is exactly the meaning of bounded? Bounded means the signal magnitude is finite. In between minus infinity to plus infinity. Suppose if I consider a signal x of t equal to 2, is it a bounded signal or not? It is a bounded signal because the magnitude of the signal is finite in between minus infinity to plus infinity. That means what? X of t is what? A bounded signal. So when you give the input to a system is a bounded input. If you give the bounded input, so if I get the bounded output, that system is absolutely a stable system. If you provide a bounded input to a system, it will produce a bounded output. That system is always a stable system. Otherwise, the system is unstable system. When we give the bounded input to the system, if the system produces the output which is unbounded, that is a unstable system. Now, what are the examples of bounded signals? What are the examples of bounded signals? X of t equal to 2 is the example of bounded signal or not? It is a bounded signal. Now, let me take another example of bounded signal, because to check the stable and unstable nature of the system, we must apply the bounded signal as the input. So this is your input, x of t equal to 2, which is a bounded signal. Suppose if I take x of t equal to u of t, is it a bounded signal or not? It is a bounded signal. What is the reason? So the magnitude of x of t is 1, which is a finite value from 0 to infinity. From minus infinity to 0, its value is 0. From 0 to 1, its value 0 to infinity, its value is 1. That means the signal is of finite magnitude in between minus infinity to plus infinity. So it is having values of 0, 1 in between minus infinity to plus infinity. Therefore, your unit step function is always a bounded signal. So let me take quickly another example of a bounded signal. So your x of t is equal to sin t. If I consider x of t equal to sin t, now you tell me x of t equal to sin t is a bounded signal or not? So what is the value of sin t? So it is ranging from minus 1 to 1, always in between minus infinity to plus infinity range. So what is the magnitude of sin t? The magnitude of sin t is ranging from minus 1 to 1. So definitely sin t is a bounded signal. And if you take the cos t, so x of t is cos t. So what is cos t? So in between minus infinity to plus infinity range, what is the value of cos t? So it is ranging from minus 1 to 1. That means in between minus infinity to plus infinity, if the signal is having finite value, that signal is a bounded signal. To check whether the given signal is a stable signal or unstable signal, To check whether the given system is a stable system or unstable system, you must apply the input for the system as bounded input, bounded signal as the input, and if you get the output as the bounded output, that system is a stable system. That system is a stable system. That is your stable and unstable system. That is your stable and unstable system. Suppose, let me quickly explain this stable and unstable systems by taking one example. System is described by this equation: t times x of t, t times x of t. Now you check whether the given system is stable system or unstable system. How can you check whether the given system is stable system or unstable system? You just give to the system a bounded input signal. What is your bounded input signal? Your u of t is a bounded input signal. So in the place of x of t, you need to substitute a bounded input signal. If you got output, a bounded output, then the system is a stable system. What is your output y of t for the input u of t? So it is t times u of t, t times u of t. Now what is t times u of t? So it is your ramp signal. It is your ramp signal. That is your output y of t. So can we get the bounded output or not? So what is y of t? So y of t is nothing but ramp. So it increases ramp. So this is your y of t. See, is this a bounded signal or not? No, it is not a bounded signal, because what is the reason? So at infinity, what is the value of y of t? So when t tends to infinity, what is the value of y of t? Y of t is infinity. Y of t is infinity. It is not the finite value. It is not the finite value. So when you give an input, a bounded signal as an input, so if you get output as the bounded output, that system is a stable system. Now here in this case, y of t is a unbounded signal. Y of t is unbounded signal, because at t equal to infinity, we will get a infinity value which is not finite. The signal magnitude is finite, in between minus infinity plus infinity range. That is a bounded signal. Otherwise the signal is unbounded signal. So what about this nature of the system? The nature of the system is unstable system. This is unstable system. What is the reason? When we give input, a bounded input, we will get a unbounded output. Therefore the system is a unstable system. Unstable system. Now if you take the example here, another example, so that we can easily realize the stable and unstable concept. Y of t equal to, so x of t plus 2. If I take the system described by this equation like this, now is this system is a bounded system or unbounded system? For that you need to apply a bounded input. So what is your bounded input? Let us apply a bounded input like this. X of t equal to 2 is a bounded input signal. Now what is your output? So your output y of t is what? X of t plus 2, which is 4. That means what? We got a bounded output. So when bounded input is given, we got a bounded output. Y of t is our bounded output. Therefore the system is absolutely a stable system. When we provide a bounded input signal, we got a bounded output. Therefore it satisfies the Bibo criteria. Whenever the system satisfies the Bibo criteria, that system is a stable system. This is about the stable and unstable systems. Next we quickly move on to the next category of the system, which is your causal and non-causal systems. So this is also very easy. So let me explain this causal and non-causal systems. So what is causal and what is non-causal systems? So causal system means, so let us take the example so that you can easily realize the nature of the causal. So a system is said to be causal if its output, what is output? Y of t. So at any instant depends only on the present and past values of the input. That is your causal system. What is causal? The output at any instant depends on the present and past values of the input. Present and past values of the input. Suppose if the equation is given like this, if the system described by the equation given like this, so y of t equal to x of t minus 2 plus 2 times x of t. So this is the equation given to you. Now you check whether the given system is a causal or not. So to check whether the given system is causal or not, what is the condition? Condition means at any instant if you calculate the output, the response depends on present and past values of the input. Suppose if I calculate at time t equal to 0, if I calculate the response y of 0. So what is your y of 0? Your y of 0 is minus 2, x of minus 2 plus 2 times x of 0, x of 0. That means your response at time t equal to 0 depends on past value of the input and present value of the input at time t equal to 0. Suppose if I verify the concept at time t equal to 4. Now what is your response at time t equal to 4? Your response at time t equal to 4 is x of 2 plus 2 times x of 4. That means what? Your response, that is your output at time t equal to 4 instant, depends on past value of the input and also the present value of the input. So when compared to t equal to 4, t equal to 2 is nothing but past value or not? It is a past value. That means the response depends on past value of the input and present value of the input. Therefore the system is a causal system. Whenever the response of your system depends on present and past values of the input, your system is a causal system. Your system is a causal system. So when it comes to the non-causal system, if the response depends on future values of the input, that is a non-causal system. Suppose if I take the example, so x of y of t equal to x of t plus 2 plus x of t. Now check whether the given system is a causal system or non-causal system. If the response of the system depends on future values of the input. Suppose at time t equal to 0, if I calculate the response, y of 0 is what? X of 2 plus x of 0. So when compared to time t equal to 0, t equal to 2 is what? The future value of the input. That means your response depends on future value of the input. Therefore the system described by this equation is definitely a non-causal system. Causal and non-causal means if the system response depends on present and past values of the input, that is a causal system. If the system response depends on future values of the input at any instant of time, that is a non-causal system. All practical systems are causal systems only. If the system is causal only, we can realize that system in practice. If you want to realize the system, it must be a causal system. So this is all for this class. See you in the next class.